Makes me sick, man. Makes me sick. Makes me sick. I'm sick to the core. United, even in their supposedly poor season, what a comeback. What a comeback. Being 2-0 down and the way they came back into that match. Audacious comeback. Garnacho. I mean, they've got their players fighting for their manager. Who's fighting for our manager? Who's fighting for our manager? Obviously, this is a disappointing result. I'm not really here to talk about Man United. It's just, I wanted to see them lose, but they're 9 points ahead of us. Bournemouth, ladies and gentlemen, are ahead of us as well after them winning and Dominic Solanke scoring. I'm going to make another video. Every time Solanke scores, I'm going to make a video. Bournemouth are ahead of us. We're now well and truly beautifully placed at 11th. Now, let's talk about some Chelsea news, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bit of an inside knowledge coming from Max, who, as you guys know, goes by the particular account PYS on Twitter. So if you don't follow Max and PYS, make sure you do that. Check this out. Internal appreciation with circumstances last game. Board feel Caicedo playing would have given us a big chance of winning the match. Chelsea higher-ups want the next 6 games won. Crystal Palace, Luton, Preston, Middlesbrough ×2. Lack of progress described as uncomfortable. So, look, they still, seems like the board haven't lost any hope. They still believe Pochettino is the right man. But at the same time, they've given him 6 games to turn things around. Basically, 6 out of 6 got to be wins. At the moment, the situation is uncomfortable. And of course it is. Of course the situation is comfortable. There's no doubts about that. I think it's beyond uncomfortable at the moment. It's borderline sickening, if I have to be accurate about the word choice. Look, the next 6 games, I hope we do get the 6 wins. And I think this is a good measure from the board, placing that ultimatum. I think an ultimatum needs to be placed. I truly believe if we are to drop points or to lose against Crystal Palace, I think this brother is about to get the sack. Because you can't continue this way. You best believe the fans will lose their mind as well. But 6 games, as stated here, in the likes of Crystal Palace, Luton, Preston, Middlesbrough times, like they should all be winnable. They really should be. None of them can be taken lightly, though. None of them can be taken lightly. That is 100% guaranteed. If you're complacent in any of these games, you're going to get done. Even Preston and Middlesbrough. Luton, if you think that's a given 3 points, please have a look at how Luton has been playing in the last few matches. They are a different animal at the moment. And in our next game against Palace, which is tomorrow, we don't have a lot of players available. The key players that are missing, and some of the key players that have just come back from injury, I don't think they're going to be starting immediately. So let's see. And I like this. Finally, we have an ultimatum. Are the owners and the board going to hold Pochettino accountable for the upcoming 6 games? That's exactly what we need to see. But lose against Crystal Palace, I think that should be it. I really do think that should be it for Mauricio Pochettino. As I've said it, the fault isn't entirely on Mauricio Pochettino. The board, the owners, number one, are the biggest culprit here. The boards are just, sporting directors are just puppets of the owners. So I fully understand and I fully get it that, Pochettino is just a, I suppose, byproduct of this mess, right? But still, if we continue to pick up so many losses, something needs to change. You're not going to get rid of all the players. You're not going to get rid of the owners. So the only man that gets into the chopping block is Pochettino. So 6 games, but lose against Palace, I think that will be lights out. The main man to call for change would be Baghdad Eghbali. Higher-ups, not owners, want the next 6 won as they are realistic fixtures to win and see the likes of Nkunku coming back. 95% of journalists I speak to are still saying Poch is unlikely to be sacked this season. Look, Yeah, sure, you can say unlikely, but continue losing, it has to happen because the fans at Stamford Bridge will turn, and you will need to listen to the fans. Fans on social media will turn, and you will need to, react to that outcry. Um, a lot of people have been saying, what happened to Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley, his stake in this entire piece, the ownership piece, I think it's somewhere around 20%, or maybe even less. I don't know, but could be around approximately 20%. The majority stakeholder is Clear Lake Capital, which is led by Baghdad Iqbali. So now Baghdad Iqbali is the one who's taken over from running the particular show, and I think Todd Bowley is still in the face, the image up front, but all the decisions are, I think, run past Iqbali at the moment, and I'm pretty sure, they won't allow this to continue for too much longer. I think they've been quite patient to just keep going till now, in the sense that obviously, there's been plenty of excuses that's been thrown around. Obviously, there's been injuries, there's been this, that, the other, suspensions. So they're giving Pochettino enough time to turn things around with this group of players. So, but as I said, continue losing, I think the plug will be pulled ASAP. So I don't believe that Poch will last till the end of the season, if we just continue to keep losing like this. I know we've got the Carabao Cup semi-finals coming up, and perhaps you'll get an opportunity to face that, but I find it very difficult if we don't get 3 points against Crystal Palace. Mauricio Pochettino admits the Chelsea job is proving more difficult than he thought, and that he has fallen short of his expectations. He said, "We knew it was going to be tough this year, but never this tough because of all the circumstances you are describing, injuries, suspensions. It makes the situation worse." Look, I'm not denying that there hasn't been injuries. We'll get to the suspensions because Mauricio Pochettino has some very interesting things to say about the suspensions. In terms of the injuries, I fully get it. But at the same time, the squad was still there. There was enough quality still available to get better out of this squad. You see so many managers across the Premier League. Bournemouth, for instance, their manager, since I think they lost against Manchester City 6-1, they've picked up 18 points out of 24, something ridiculous like that. So, and it's not like Bournemouth's got a glamorous team. There's quite a lot of youngsters as well. But the manager is getting the better out of that squad. That's what you need to see a manager do. You won't have always the best squad. You won't have everything that you desire in terms of which players that you want, but you still got to be able to make the team competitive. You look at Man United, for instance. I know they've got a lot of experience in their team, but even how poor they look majority of the time, they come back every now and then with this kind of result against Aston Villa today. We saw comeback. And there's been a few other ones where they've just been able to squeeze out a victory. Obviously, they've lost quite a few, but they're still 9 points ahead of us. Do you know what I mean? And apparently this is meant to be one of their worst seasons. So you can understand how bad we are placed if we are 9 points behind Man United, who's supposedly having their worst season. So we have to find solution. We have to find more competitive grit in our game, which we just don't have. And this is where I blame Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino, yes, I think it's really frustrating. The disappointment is there. We are working really hard. I promise. We all work so hard. The medical staff and the performance staff are working really hard to try and anticipate and avoid these type of problems. But sometimes it's a sacrifice. Sometimes it's bad luck. Look, it can be bad luck once, twice, maybe max 3 times, but it can't be bad luck so many times. Look at the plethora of losses and the draws we've picked up this season. It can't just all be down to bad luck. It really cannot be. If Mauricio Pochettino is looking for a euphoric state where nothing is wrong, all players are fit, every bit of luck is falling for him. It doesn't work like that, man. Life is all about adversity, and you've got to find ways to get out of adversity. So what does that say about Mauricio Pochettino? Whenever there is a little bit of adversity, he can't handle it because it's not the perfect state. Come on, man. Mauricio Pochettino on being level on points with Wolves and Bournemouth, and how far away you are from the targets you've set. So far away, to be honest, our target was to be on top. We are Chelsea with our history and everything. It demands us to be near the top. But at the moment, we need to be realistic. We need to compete better if we want to win more games. So why aren't we competing better? That for me is on the manager. That for me is 100% on the manager. We have to compete better at a bare minimum. People these days in the fan base, they get excited as soon as they see, one of our players track back. Brother, like, that is the bare minimum. Tracking back, getting stuck into tackles, trying to win as many duels as possible, staying in the game, concentrating, focusing. These are bare minimum principles. Nothing to, be excited about, nothing to hype about. These are the basic fundamentals. And the basic fundamentals, majority of the match is not there. We may see that for the first 20 minutes or the middle 20 minutes or 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. We've not been able to construct a whole 90 minutes of perfect performance. Not even perfect, competitive performance. And for me, that is on Mauricio Pochettino once again. Mauricio Pochettino said Chelsea's 56 bookings in 18 league games did not show a lack of discipline, but rather his players' desire to compete. I mean, this doesn't even make sense, what he's saying. He's saying that this is not due to lack of discipline. It's just it's due to the desire to compete. It is lack of discipline. Desire to compete, no problems, but no need to be reckless. No need to be stupid. A lot of our players are picking, cards due to dissent. Like, for example, Nicholas Jackson. You need to learn. Once you pick up, no problems. Second time you picked it up. Third time, you're now taking the mick. You have to learn. Where's the learning curve here? Where's the learning in any of this? We don't seem to be learning. We've picked up so many losses. We're not learning from our mistakes. The SRC is saying, we've got to learn from our mistakes. But you're not learning because you keep repeating the same mistakes. Similarly with picking up all of these yellow cards. Pochettino said that, it's these picking up all of these yellow cards are not due to ill discipline. It's due to players being frustrated. Well, that is ill discipline. You being frustrated and going out there and picking up a yellow card, that is ill discipline. Definition of ill discipline. But we need to win. We need to perform. We need to go one better than today. The performance from the beginning of the season have not been bad, but we can't say they've been very good. So it's not been bad, but it's not been very good. Let me tell you one thing. There's not been too many games where we've played 90 minutes of good football. There's been 45 minutes of good football. There have been 20 minutes of good football. There have been half an hour of good football. There've never been a complete package of 90 minutes of good football. Maybe that Manchester City game is the only one that you can say, but even then we conceded 4. So to say that they've not been bad, but it's not been very good, no, they have been bad. They have been bad. You've got to be able to be honest. If they've not been bad, then we would not be 11th. It's simple as that. You don't become 11th on the table by chance. You don't become 11th on table if you're not bad. You're 11th on the table because that's your level. You're bad at the moment. That's your level. If you are better, then you'd be higher up the table. It's as simple as that. Now, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I had some PYS news. Let's see if there's any latest from PYS. Anything that's out at the moment. Stat: Chelsea have won 12 matches in a row against Crystal Palace, last losing in 2017. In comes Charity FC. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Mauricio Pochettino says Enzo Fernandez and Leslie Ugochukwu will miss Crystal Palace's visit to Chelsea. Ugochukwu re-injured his hamstring. Only Moses Caicedo may return. I think Ugochukwu was a bit of a forced inclusion in the last game. I don't think he was ready, and now he's pulled his hamstring again, so he's going to be out. If we don't have any Caicedo, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. And Caicedo was sick. He was ill the last game against Wolves. So that just leaves Gallagher the only midfielder. Enzo Fernandez obviously needs a lot of rest. I don't think we're going to see Enzo Fernandez for a little while. Against Palace, no Palmer, no Sterling. It's going to be a long day. It is going to be a very, very long day. And I don't expect Nkunku to start straight away. I fully expect him to come off the bench. Romeo Lavia definitely off the bench. Look, Poch, you better hope that just like United with Garnacho and a few of the other players really, really stepping up to save his job, you got to hope that someone is stepping up to save your job. It's as simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us till the end of today's news. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe and comment on each and every one of the topics that we've talked about in the comment section. Until then, take care and see you.